This is Elliot Serrano and Jose Melendez coming to you from my home in Streamwood, Illinois, and actually we call this the Nerd Cave. We are unable to record at Dreamland Comics this week. If you watch the last segment, then you'll know why. But anyway, we are doing some reviews. We had actually that last rant, rant/review of the Bendis books was more than I.
And we didn't even get into Dark Avengers.
We didn't even get into Dark Avengers, which is another load of baloney. But before anyone says that we're just wanting to pick on Marvel books right now, yeah, there are a couple DC books that came out that kind of...
now do you realize in these two segments after we even rip on DC that one's like, no, all you guys do is talk about negative.
You're haters, man. You're haters. All you do is hate. I can't watch you anymore because then I won't be able to love comics then.
Yeah, newsflash, comics kind of suck.
Well, you guys aren't going to be happy with us about this because we're talking about The Return of Bruce Wayne by the esteemed Grant Morrison with artwork by Chris Sprouse. I'm going to tell you right now, I love Chris Sprouse's art. I love him as an artist, and I got to say with this book, he just, again, can do no wrong. His line work really reminds me of some classic Al Williamson stuff. Chris Sprouse just this gorgeous, gorgeous artwork in this book that, to me really just carried it. I really wish, though, that the Grant Morrison script could have held up to that. I mean, you can tell Grant Morrison is doing like the really obvious stuff. He's going through Bruce Wayne, or he's going through the Batman as through different incarnations throughout different periods in the DC universe. But
if you really think about it, it is kind of like, if this was like a comic that came out like in the 50s or 60s, I don't know if that's what Grant Morrison is doing. But because that would make sense, because it's like when people are trying to make comics more real nowadays, it's like really like or Bruce Wayne is like jumping around time and has to fucking put on a Batman costume.
No matter where he is.
No matter where he is. He has to make a Batman costume or whatever he has.
Right. Yeah.
It is kind of hokey.
It is. I mean, if you want, I know Grant Morrison doesn't have to sing for Silver Age, but yeah.
Yeah, and luckily for Bruce Wayne, Vandal Savage's tribe just killed a big bad. So he had a costume just sitting right there.
Right there. So I was like, I'm reading this book, and don't get me wrong, I went into this really wanting to like this and enjoy this, and maybe the series will kind of pick up as it continues, as it goes on. But this really left me kind of cold because this isn't anything strikingly new and different. Really, it really feels like we've tread over this territory time and time again. And again, Grant Morrison is a really good writer. I don't know, maybe it's just me.
Maybe it is just you. Well, I didn't hate it. I mean, I enjoyed it for what it was, but at the same time, it's the first issue. This is the first time we get to see Bruce Wayne's Time of Crisis, and we have no idea what is going through Bruce Wayne's mind.
Yeah. Maybe I'll have the same feeling about this when it's collected in a trade, and I get, I can read the whole thing in one sitting.
But I think that the second issue of this is coming out in another week. So that does help, because you don't have to wait a whole another month. It's like, well, I've been waiting this long. They don't really explain anything in here. Hopefully they'll do some more explaining. The one thing, though, I have to say that just really, this is so beneath Grant Morrison that I wonder if this is a mandate, was the whole Superman and Booster Gold and Green Lantern showing up.
Going through time to
looking for Bruce Wayne, and then he's like, we can't let him go back to the present because everybody will die. It's like, oh my god, really?
Yeah.
How fucking generic is that? Like, all of a sudden, like, now
not that he can't go back, but he can't go back the way he's going back. Something like that. I mean, I don't know if they can't...
No, it says if he survives this, it does the impossible again. And it does the impossible. If Batman makes it back to the 21st century on his own, everyone dies.
See, on his own. If he makes it on his own. So he can't make it on his own. The Justice League has to bring him back.
And again, that just raises more questions. Like, no one's been dealing with any of this bullshit.
Right.
And all of a sudden they throw this in there, and it's like...
It's Final Crisis all over again. It's Final
I
Crisis.
hope it's not. I hope that this story does pan out.
I mean, hopefully it'll be more cohesive than Final Crisis.
But I mean, yeah, but you know, then we get like next issue we get Batman as a pilgrim, and then we get Batman as a cowboy.
Yeah.
And then we get Batman as an astronaut, maybe. I hope that'd be pretty awesome.
Astronaut Batman.
But it's, I don't know. I mean, it was fun. The artwork was like beautiful.
Oh, the artwork was gorgeous.
Artwork alone,
Gorgeous.
like the $4 was worth the artwork alone.
Yeah.
But
and the Robin bit where they managed to create Robin, caveman Robin.
I mean, this is all still very feel, which is fine. But
man,
I like it more than he did actually.
Then the other book was Birds of Prey, the Birds of Prey relaunch by Gail Simone with artwork by Ed Benes. With Benes really aping Michael Turner right now.
This is how it's always been.
I don't know, when I read...
Ed Benes actually used to ape Roger Cruz, who used to ape Joe Madureira.
Okay.
So he's like from that whole like school where it's kind of like Scott Campbell and Joe Madureira when they were really big.
Right.
That's where Ed Benes got everything from.
Right. Well, anyway, so it's the Birds of Prey are being brought back together again, but it's not just Barbara Gordon, Black Canary, and the Huntress. They also have Lady Blackhawk.
Well, Lady Blackhawk was with them at the end of the last
Yeah. And then they're also bringing in Hawk and Dove.
Because they're birds.
So, and it's them, I guess someone is after the Birds of Prey and wanting to bring them down, which is kind of one of those, again, mysterious enemy, wants to pull out everything. I'm telling you, for Oracle being a protege of Batman, if someone can discover everything that they want about your background and kind of out your identity, you're not the best Batman protege.
Well, well, here's the thing with that whole, like, what's going on with that villain. The Calculator is pretty much the nemesis of Oracle.
Right.
Gordon. So I'm reading this, I'm like, oh, they're just going to do another Calculator story again. Yeah. But then, at the end, it's not that Calculator, which to me, since I've been reading this book, since this last incarnation, I found that very nice that it wasn't the Calculator again.
Yeah.
So it's somebody who's doing something that the Calculator was doing, but it's not the Calculator, which was kind of a surprise.
So instead of Morgan Le Fay, we get Kang.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm just saying, it seems like...
Well, we don't even know who this new
character is. Yeah, the White Canary.
We might know who she is, but we don't know as of the reveal at the end who it is. But
the thing was, I guess, the book to me, just had so much going on as far as the introductions and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know. This was, if you ask me, not really Gail Simone's best work as far as writing dialogue. I mean, the dialogue felt really clunky. These characters didn't seem... Maybe it's just much more than Gail can handle. Because she started writing, Hawk comes across as this really kind of bad... I mean, we're reading this and he's saying this stuff that's really kind of... Well, the Hawk and Dove are fighting these characters called the crazy the crazy cheerleaders or something like that. There's some gang called the cheerleaders. And after they're about, after the Hawk and Dove beat them, Hawk's, teasing that he's going to drop one of these girls off a ledge. And after he doesn't do it, he says, cheerleader gangs, cheerleaders are for back seats, not for robbery, not for armed robbery. And I'm like, wow, that seemed like, if you want to show that the guy is like a total chauvinist, that seemed like a really cliched way of getting to make a jerky character.
Well, would you rather he just like rip one of their heads off, like in the Bendis book?
Yeah, I guess you have a point there.
Yeah, I do.
It just seemed to me, I don't know. I mean, Gail is so good at writing female characters, well...
Well, I didn't have a problem. I don't know what he's bitching about, but this was a good first issue. But then again, I was a huge fan, and when this book got canceled, I was fucking pissed.
Yeah.
And now I'm just glad it's back. But the one thing, if I'm going to complain about something, is this damn art. I cannot stand Ed Benes at all. Like, the art in here, it's like, I do have to give Ed Benes credit though, because he actually went 14 pages in the book without drawing a female ass.
Yeah, but I love this bit here where Huntress is on the phone talking, and she kicks some guy as she's talking on the phone. I'm like, oh, come on.
But, I mean, And the other thing is that Ed Benes drew the Huntress's costume wrong, so they had the colors had to go in and fix it.
That's right, yeah.
And it looks terrible.
Yeah. Well, he was doing a little too much boobage there, or
Well, no, because it's supposed to be like the midriff is supposed to be showing,
right.
but he didn't draw it like that at all. He
right.
just drew it as a one piece, and so the art was just really distracting. And this book really needs Nicola Scott to come back to do it, because she's not doing Wonder Woman anymore. She's not doing Secret Six anymore. Get rid of Ed Benes and get Nicola Scott in here, so Nicola Scott and Gail Simone can do another book together. But when they worked on Birds of Prey in the last iteration,
Right.
just bring it back. So
Yeah, but
that fixed all the problems for me.
But Ed Benes is that name. I mean, a lot of folks like Ed Benes' artwork, and I'm just saying, I wasn't too hot on this issue. Who knows? Maybe later on it'll catch on. I guess overall, I just expected a lot more than what I got from this book.
No, you're probably expecting too much, but
Yeah.
I like it fine.
My standards are too high.
Says the guy who loves Siege number 2.
You're never gonna let me live that down. I didn't say I loved it. I just said it was better than I expected.
You loved it.
Whatever. When we come back, we're gonna talk about a couple books that we actually liked and that probably should be getting a lot more attention than they.
Did Invincible come out this week?
Who knows? You'll have to find out when we come back.